I was so wrong. My uneducated husband embarrasses me so hard. What should I do? I used to believe that as long as my husband earned money and provided for our family, everything else would be fine. Educational backgrounds didn't seem like such a big deal back then. But now, I often find myself struggling with a feeling I'd rather not admit. Shame. Shame that my husband doesn't know much about anything. I'm 35 years old, working in a bank. After I graduated from university, I got married about 2 years later. My life seemed to be going on the right track. I have a stable job, a good income, and eventually, 2 beautiful children. My days at work are filled with conversations with clients, many of whom are successful, wealthy, and well-educated. On the other hand, my husband works in e-commerce. He earns enough for us to get by, not lavishly, but sufficiently. He spends most of his day in front of a computer screen fulfilling online orders and checking inventory, sometimes up to 12 hours a day. He works hard to run the business, no doubt. But diligence and knowledge aren't always the same thing, and my husband knows little besides running his online store. Before we married, my best friend warned me. She said that differences in educational backgrounds could create conflicts, a gap so wide that is impossible to ignore. I didn't listen to her because I believed love would be enough for us to live happily together. At the time, I had just earned my bachelor degree, while my husband hadn't even finished high school. He left high school after 2 years to help his family run their electronics store. And he was okay at it. He didn't need a diploma, he had the kind of hands-on experience that kept the business going. But marriage has a way of revealing things you never thought would matter. The difference in our educational backgrounds became painfully clear. After a long, stressful day at the bank, I'd come home needing advice or a sounding board. My husband would listen patiently, but his responses fell flat, they lacked depth, context, or relevance. He didn't understand the complexities I faced, and he couldn't help because my world was completely foreign to him. He had no experience in a white-collar environment, so the challenges I dealt with might as well have been in another language. Gradually, I gave up. Talking to him felt like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces, and the more I tried, the less I wanted to talk to him. It's not that I look down on him. Plenty of people succeed without a diploma, as long as they have the drive to learn and grow. But he doesn't. He stays in the same place, never trying to expand his knowledge or skills. His lack of curiosity and ambition makes it feel like we're living in different worlds, and that difference just keeps getting harder to ignore. Even everyone around us notices it too. Then we had children, and education took on a new weight in my life. I wanted them to study hard and go to college. But my husband's views were so different. If they can study, they'll study. If not, they'll figure something out, he'd say. His solution for everything was working at the family store. Our kids are in elementary school now. They're bright, curious, full of questions. Why is the sky blue, Mom? Why does water boil at 100 degrees? On days when I'm busy, they turn to their dad. And he just stares at them, lost. Sometimes he tries to answer, but it's clear he doesn't know. The disappointment in their little faces breaks me. Family gatherings are even harder. My husband tries to have some conversations with my relatives, but the things he says often leave me cringing. He's out of touch with what's happening in the world. He doesn't know about the war in Ukraine or why prices are rising so fast. I find myself avoiding these gatherings altogether, just to avoid the embarrassment. At work, I'm surrounded by people who know things. Doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs. Their knowledge challenges me, pushes me to learn new things every day just to keep up. We discuss wide-ranging topics like the stock market, crypto trends, or the latest Fed rate decisions. I feel alive in those conversations, constantly expanding my mind. But when I come home, it's like stepping into a different world. A smaller, quieter world where curiosity and growth seem to have no place. My husband talks about being yelled at by a customer over a broken light bulb, and there's no room for deeper conversations. The contrast is just so big, and it makes the distance between us feel even greater. I feel it in our conversations too. We talk less and less. There's nothing to say. The silence between us stretches longer each night, like a growing distance neither of us knows how to close. I've tried to help him. I've suggested books, articles, even casual conversations about the news. But he just did everything in half measures, saying he doesn't have the time or the interest. It's not that he's unkind or lazy, he just doesn't see the value in knowing more. Some nights, when I'm driving home, I just want to go straight to my bed and ignore my boring husband. I love my children deeply, and I want them to have a wise father they can look up to. But right now, they don't. And that breaks my heart. Looking back, I wish I had listened to my friend's advice. Education isn't just a piece of paper or a line on a resume. It shapes how you see the world, how you solve problems, how you connect with others. I wish my husband and I were on the same page, or at least reading from the same book. But we're not. I'm not sure where this road will lead us. All I know is that the gap between us feels wider every day. And sometimes, I'm not sure if love alone is enough to bridge it. I still love my husband, but our minds are just too different, and the respect I used to have for him is no longer the same. I feel like my marriage is getting colder and colder. I wish my husband could understand how I feel right now, so he would try to change, even just once. But it seems so impossible. Have you ever been in a situation like this? What would you do? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this kind of content and want to hear more real-life stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support means so much to me. Thank you.